everybody! Coming to you live while we record our podcast. What's up with that, bro? That's what you're listening to right now. It's the podcast where we're watching Lost backwards, right? We started at the very end. We're almost to the beginning. It's been a long 5 years of trying to watch this 100 or so episodes of Lost, and yeah, here we are, halfway through season 1. And as we like to say here on our show, we have to go backwards. And Chagwago, one of our hosts, he's never seen Lost before.
Well, except for
Yeah.
the
Most of it.
70 episodes or whatever
So.
that we've already watched. We've been doing this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we've enjoyed doing it with our other co-host, AJ Nieves.
Thank you for that intro. Yep, I'm AJ, and welcome everybody to What's Up With That Bro again. And this week we're considering the episode, season 1, episode 17, Lost in Translation. So I'm looking forward to it. Like, just a general synopsis. We can kind of be quick and then jump right into it. Our synopsis of the episode is Michael and crew are trying to build a boat to leave the island. A fire occurs, and Jin is assumed to be the burner of the boat. And we kind of follow an off-island story that regards our pair, which is Jin and Sun. So that kind of gets us right into the episode.
Yeah. This is a fun title for the episode. I think it's just in translation, but it goes along with the title of the show,
Which is
Translation.
Lost.
Yeah. Yes.
In translation.
We get one more of those with "and found" at some point.
That's right. Yeah. I dug this one. How are you guys feeling about this one overall? Like, just general overall takes of this set.
I was glad to be watching Lost again because it's been so long since
Yeah.
I actually sat down and watched it.
It's been a hot minute.
Some good kissing. I don't know if you know, AJ, but now I'm big on watching people kiss because we've been watching all these Marvel movies and no one's allowed to kiss. So now anytime they see a good kiss, I gotta take note of it. Anytime there's a kiss or a hero murders somebody with no repercussions, those are things that I like to see.
Yeah.
And those things both happen in Lost.
Yeah.
In multiple iterations.
Yeah.
Like, they just need that story to keep trucking. Like, oh, we can't do this if our main protagonist is facing a court date and is in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And so, like, the episode would have progressed, but somebody has to go and make bail, which means you have to reach out to family and friends and just have somebody put up their house.
Yeah.
And then the story can progress like 7 years later after they've done their time.
Yeah.
I want to see that superhero story. I'm pretty sure that's happened at some point. Somebody's told that story. Like, yeah, I was in prison, but I'm still a superhero, or I'm still an island losty. I do like that this episode kind of, like, it's been a while, but like, if you're a Lost fan, or if you've been into the show or been watching, or if you're familiar with Lost, like, this kind of gets you right back in there, and there's all these characters that you are familiar with, and we lead out with our romantic duo. I don't know if we can even call them romantic, because they're kind of like a couple in peril, right, in this episode, or like a married couple in peril.
There's definitely some drama going on there.
As is natural to Lost, for sure.
Because at this point, this is the episode where Jin finds out that Sun can speak English, right? So she's been hiding it from him this whole time. She's been hiding it from most of the people, right? So at this point in their experience on the island, however long it's been, about a month, I think Sawyer says, like, they think they're the only two people that, they can talk to, they can even understand what they're saying. So it's like it's just those two having to experience all of this craziness that's going on.
Yeah, that's got to be lonely. I mean, you could see it on Jin's face. It's a betrayal, but like also too, like you mentioned, it's just the two of them that are able to speak the language, and it's a betrayal because, like, it's a lonely thing. It seems like Jin would be kind of well, he's only got his wife to speak with, and like
Right.
all the while, son's like, yeah, I can roll with this language pretty handily. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know if the show dealt with that part. Well, maybe it did in that reveal scene where yeah, he's getting socked in the face, but then like it doesn't match with that. It counterbalances with that emotional heft of like it's like yeah, you got socked in the face, but also did you know that your wife speaks another language? Ah,
Yeah.
that's another.
But
Oh
I
man,
gotta talk about that fight because it's not a fight. He's just getting punched in the face repeatedly, and Jack tries to stop it, and then everyone goes, "No, no, this is between them. This is their fight." It's not a fight. He's just standing there saying something in another language. Nobody understands what he's saying, and another guy's just socking him in the face over and over again. No,
All right,
that's the type of thing you're supposed to stop.
Michael is blinded by rage in that moment, but like at some point you kind of like, all right, he's talking to me. He's not
Right.
also trying to. It's not like a shit talk where you're like, yeah, I burnt down your raft, and then I'll just take a couple of whacks in the face. It's like there's something happening here.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, he's not putting his hands up trying to defend himself or fight or anything. He's just getting
Yeah,
beaten.
it's a
Which
very
Michael
passive
might
way.
be taking it as like an admission of guilt because he
Right.
doesn't know what the words that he's saying are.
Yeah. Yeah. I
True.
mean, Michael, he's blinded by rage. He doesn't know. But everyone else should be like, no, no, let's not do this. It. I think Sawyer's right. Sawyer says that it's Lord of the Flies, and it really is. They're brutal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. How are you guys feeling about the Off Island story this week?
It's, I feel like we see a lot of this stuff already. We've seen like the fact that
Yeah,
he's working for the dad for his son or son's dad and beating people up and all this stuff. So it's like it's not you don't really learn a lot. I think in this episode based off of what we already know.
We didn't learn a
Right.
lot,
Yeah, that's true.
but I think the audience might have.
Yeah.
And also, like if I'm reading the episode right,
Hmm.
I think that this is the first time that people who are watching the show in the correct order
Hmm.
might have gotten to see
Oh,
a loving relationship between Jin and Sun.
right.
Because I think that we just like or not we, but I think that the first like 16 episodes or whatever is the two of them like just yelling at each other
Right.
and like the kind of behavior that he shows at the beginning of the episode, like where his wife's like, "Oh, I'm on the beach. I'm gonna wear this bikini," and you think he's gonna be like, "Oh man, check out my sexy ass wife," and as it turns out, he's like, "Oh no, my sexy ass wife."
Right.
yeah. I wonder, like, is that given the time frame of when this was brought out? Is this like an era thing, like a time era thing, where this is kind of a thing in the early what in '06 when this season was out? I wonder. I mean, it's not. I can't believe it's almost been like 20 years since this show's been on.
Oh,
It's
oh
not quite
no.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Close though.
but yeah. So I
20
don't
years.
know. I don't know if there is like, because it almost feels like the social mores have kind of, they're not, it's not gone to a point where that's just a thing, but it kind of feels like it's been a thing for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
The internet speeds things up by like
Yeah.
10 years. So you're
Right.
just all,
Yeah. Everyone's a lot more
it
body
feels like,
positive now, right? But I think
yeah,
a
it
big
almost
thing
feels
about the
like 1950.
show, yeah, and the way that Jin is like characterized in it, especially in this first season, like he as like a more traditional Asian husband kind of thing, so that
Yeah.
he's always buttoning her shirt up and trying to protect her from the one black man. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
And
that is absolutely how it reads.
Yeah.
As unfortunate as that is,
it's funny because like I I feel like the subtext of the episode is like like he knew something was going on with his wife, because I mean we know that as the three of us, like he knows that something was going on with his wife prior to them getting to the island, maybe, and then there it's just kind of more like, so he's trying to place that on the next thing that he can place it on. In this case, it's Michael. Like, but yeah, it just feels like it's one of those things. Like, I know something's going on. I know something's going on. It's, but it's. We come to find out later that it's something. That thing is happening, but it's a different circumstance, I suppose.
Yeah, I think.
A different dude. At least.
Yeah. Because he knows something weird's going on the island, but nobody's telling him anything because everyone's speaking English about it. So he's on edge and he's paranoid. He knows something's going on. So yeah, she's the object of all of his attention.
Yeah, like going back to that Jin alone and just being able to speak that language,
right?
Like that's yeah, that I would imagine could lead a lot of folks into paranoia or but it's interesting because he doesn't only experience, and I'm guessing we're gonna see more stuff that happens between him and Michael later as we progress, but like I don't know if there's like it's not only negative interactions with people on the island. Like Hurley tries to offer him like a pair of fishing poles and while he's golfing, and I'm wondering, like, I know, like, he turns down the fishing excursion, but like we know that he's a fisherman. So is it only is it one of those things? I'm trying to blow off stress. I'm not trying to get back to my roots of fishing.
Yeah, like it makes him think of his dad and his growing up poor as a poor fisher boy.
Right.
Which Hurley doesn't get that stuff because he's a millionaire. He doesn't understand the working man anymore.
He doesn't understand the struggle.
Yeah.
Here's yeah, he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like we're bouncing around, but like one part that kind of broke my heart was that little girl that lost her dog.
Yeah.
Like the dad goes like, here, take one of my dogs. It's like a championship breed. It's a champion breed. And I was like, that is a Shar-Pei. That is a Shar-Pei dog. Like, I don't know any champion Shar-Peis that are wandering this.
Yeah.
Like, who is out there breeding champion version Shar-Pei dogs?
Well, if you go to like a wrinkly dog competition, probably going to be a Shar-Pei that wins that.
So I want to make a confession. I didn't actually watch the episode today because I looked at my notes and I saw that I wrote notes on this episode. Back in November when we were supposed to record.
I think we canceled that record and then never made it up.
Yeah.
I must not have even watched it.
So I had my notes on this.
Right.
So I don't act. So I was just like, I can play video games during my lunch break. I don't have to watch Lost. So that's what I did. So I don't remember when he has to come back to beat the shit out of the dad or kill him.
Right.
Does he bring the dog back?
No, they keep the dog because we even see the dog in other later episodes earlier for us.
Okay.
You see like the adult dog. Yeah.
Like he totally kept that dog.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing.
Because the thing was, he was like, "Here's the dog. Please don't kill me."
Yeah. Like also like he essentially Jin took that little girl's dog. Like okay, which feels like a reverse save the cat moment. It's like, oh man, I can root for you. You just jacked this kid's dog.
Mm-hmm. Instead of saving the cat, it's stealing the dog.
There's a whole book on it.
Yeah.
Like, how to write a good bad guy.
Yeah.
Steal the dog.
Exactly. This is his descent into darkness, right? So before he beats a guy into a pulp in front of his children, or later on he throws a guy off a roof or something, right? So like, before you do all that stuff, you gotta steal a dog from a little girl.
Here's my question. It's been so long. Has Jin actually committed murder in the service of Pike Industries? Do we know that, or do we remember any of that?
Well, that guy who was cuckolding him, right? I think he was sent to kill him. I think, but I don't know if that guy killed himself. I think when we rewatched that episode, that's the conclusion we came up to, was that guy jumped off the roof because Jin was already
Yeah.
downstairs, I think, when he hit the ground. But I always thought of it as Jin had thrown him off the roof. I still even think that. That's my conspiracy theory.
I agree.
That it was a really
I think-
tall building and he
It just
ran
took
down
a
the stairs
while.
really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was up there just having a last moment to himself. It feels like Jin, like for what the show is, like Jin walks himself up to that moment of like, I'll beat somebody, I'll beat them to a pulp, maybe I'll beat them in front of their family, but I won't kill them.
Yeah.
Which I see that in the character, but like at the same time, like, man, if you're beating somebody, there's a chance you could beat somebody to the point where like maybe they don't fully work correctly. I guess the idea
Right.
is like, well, they're left with their life,
Right.
but like, I don't know what life you're gonna have, jaws wired shut, or
Yeah.
whatever is happening to all these people that have been in the presence of Jin after he's having to like do his job as he works for Mr. Pike in Pike
Right.
Industries, which like also too, how big does your empire have to be, or you know, like, because if you're working within the world of industries and you're not like, because it's not like an underground mafia thing, right?
Right.
Pike Industries is like a legit kind of company, so I mean, I can understand you needing security and stuff, but like how, is he showing up to board meetings and shareholder meetings with like a bunch of toughs? You know what I mean? A
Yeah,
bunch
I think
of
so. I think it's that kind of thing.
yeah.
I don't know how it works in Korea, but I picture it. It's kind of like a Japanese yakuza kind of thing, like a big businessmen,
I
but
could see
also
that.
organized crime and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think that he probably has his feet in both worlds,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
he is doing legitimate business and also some other stuff.
Right.
Because like this guy that they were threatening, it was like a factory owner, is what I got out of it. Like he said,
I
"Oh,
think
open
he
up
was
your."
like the,
I
it's like
thought he
the
was like a congressman or something.
yeah, like the secretary of the environment or something, like
Oh shit! Okay,
like
I
a
missed that part.
major important person in the government.
Yeah,
He was
he
shutting
was
down the
definitely
factory.
a government thing.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, so if he's a
I
government,
think he
they
shut
don't
down
like.
one of Pike's factories,
Yeah.
and they like he was supposed to teach him a lesson for doing that, and instead he just took
So
his
here's
dog.
Yeah. He just said
yeah,
Mr. Pike is disappointed or unhappy or something. And he's, oh, okay. I'm sorry
but
that he's unhappy.
that would become my question then. Like, is it up to the one guy? Is there not like bills and legislation introduced to like shut down this, or like some kind of legal entity that has the ability to shut down this factory? Or because like it's a guy that works for the government there. It's not
Right.
like another dude. It's all like, no, I don't want your factory to open. Also, I'm from another business. He's like from the government. So
Right.
I'm wondering what kind of sway does Pike Industries hold.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, this is us getting deep into it.
Yeah. I think that guy was high up enough where he could have stopped it if he felt his life was in danger. But
But oh,
Jin just showed up and was like, Mr. Pike is unhappy. I guess I'll take your dog. And the guy was like, oh, okay. I guess that's that. I'll go back to work.
yeah.
He doesn't realize that,
Like, time to
next
keep
time
be close.
a psycho's going to shoot me with a silencer in my living room.
That's another thing. Is that not a concentration of power in the government? Like they're not going to spread that out over a couple of different key guys. You know,
Maybe
that's
he was like the deciding vote on a
Oh,
committee,
yeah.
and he was supposed to already be in Pike's pocket.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just gonna change heart or
He's
something.
also.
Yeah.
What kind of life does this guy live? Because like he's working for the government. He's in possession of prized dogs, like
Yeah.
champion dogs.
A member of the upper
I don't
class
know.
in some way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's our tip off. But he's also involved with this version of a Korean mafia type
Yeah.
mafioso. So bizarre.
Also, you know, the South Korean government, they take the environmental policy a lot more seriously than we do here. So maybe, you know, just treat their
Yeah.
environmental regulators better, pay them a lot more.
So the factory opens the next day, and they go to that government regent guy, and they're just like, "Yo, hey, did we close this factory down? How's it open today?" And he just stumbles in with a bunch of like stitches and stuff. He's like, "I don't know. I don't know why we're open, or the factory's open." Or he just like plays dumb. It is the factory's been
What?
like
This factory?
been
Oh,
he points at it with like from his crutches.
Isn't this factory supposed to be open?
so it says in the hours.
This is on me. This is on me. We were supposed to close down the other factory, so he closes down a totally factory, not mop owned.
Or maybe everyone's yelling at him, and he just like, stop yelling at me. I hate making people unhappy. Here, just dogs. Everyone have a dog.
He just keeps giving people dogs. They're like, we're getting all these dogs. Don't worry about it. All of these are prized dogs. Turns out that's a lie. Yeah. It turns out he gets those dogs like his sister who owns like a dog. Right. Also, fun Easter
Maybe
egg.
It's a dog factory.
Yeah.
Like we shut down the road. Now I can't give out all my bribes that come in the form of dogs. Yeah. It'd be great. Like if he's just walking around town, he's like, "Hey, you know what?" And like stuffs a dog in somebody's breast pocket, and you're like, "Let me take care of it." It's like, "Excuse me,
Pat.
Did you put a very wrinkly dog in my thing, in my lapel?"
Yeah, and they're counterfeit Shar-Peis too. Like it's like regular dogs, and he has like a machine that just grabs their skin and stretches it.
They just put the dog next to a steamer to get it all wrinkly.
Like there's another factory that's specifically used for counterfeiting dogs. I said that weird. Counterfeiting dogs. Goodness. Yeah. So.
And we've been talking a lot about the Sun Engine stuff, both on the island and off the island. But there's a fairly strong B plot to this too.
Yeah.
Or is off island the B plot? You think? And Saeed is the C plot.
I guess. Yeah. I think that's the way it works. You get your A plot is two parts: the on and off island. It's the same character, right? And there's like parallels there. And then I guess I would. Yeah, I would say there's two parts of the A plot, and then B plot is
the A1 and the A2.
Yeah.
Wait, what is our B in this? I mean, the C plot is the whole is the whole Saeed and Shannon thing, right?
Yeah, I think we're saying that's the B plot,
right?
Because on island and off island is A sub 1 and A sub 2.
I see. Yeah. All right. Like that they kind of they chucked in there for a little while. I guess. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Like I'm kind of wondering about what's funny is like Saeed was so quick to just be like, "Is that the way you feel about your sister? Then we're done here." Like I take the word of brothers very seriously.
Yeah.
That was his whole
from
approach
a culture
to
that's
this.
Very patriarchal, or like you need the brothers' permission or whatever.
Yeah,
he says he doesn't want his permission. He does.
He's like, "I don't need your permission, but I kind of want it."
But now that I don't have it, I guess I'll break up with her. It's two completely independent thoughts.
Yeah.
And Boone also tries to make it. He tries to poison the well a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and she, her instinct is to go and speak to Boone, right? We get that scene with her and Locke. Like I guess it's not a stretch, but it's just so funny because like he just goes like, "You can make your own tent." She's like, "Have you been talking to Boone? Like, is that your first?" Like, if somebody tells you can make your own, you can build your own tent, you're like, You've been talking to my brother, haven't you? You
Yeah,
son of a.
that just shows her insecurities. The same way that Jin thinks everybody's after his wife, like Shannon thinks anytime someone has anything negative to say about her, it's because they heard it from Boone because he knows her.
Yeah,
I
I could watch that all
completely
day.
completely unrelated to Lost story. I want to tell you
Yeah,
guys. Uh, so I don't know whether or not you guys remember Anthony Negrelli.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
me and him, we've been friends since we were in high school together.
right.
So we've been hanging out together off and on because he keeps moving to the mainland. Uh, but we've been hanging out off and on for about 25 years. So uh, this is a story when I want to say maybe like 19 or something, like we're just out of high school
Right.
or maybe 2 years out. But we decided to drive out to Kunia to
Hmm.
go to and hang out at Walmart and also to drop by Wendy's because
Right. I used to live
don't
right
get to
there.
eat Wendy's in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so uh
Oh, and the one by the airport closed. It's fucking gone now.
oh, it's gone now?
Well, I mean,
That
there's a fence up
sucks.
around and
What?
it's boarded up. Yeah, it's gone.
What?
Damn.
I didn't.
I found that out this weekend when I tried to go to Wendy's.
Sad.
Yeah.
So you had to drive out to
What?
Kunia?
No, we just went to Taco Bell instead.
Okay. But anyway, so we head out with a couple of friends of ours
Hmm.
also, and Anthony decided to get a salad for himself, and then we're hanging out on the benches outside of Walmart on the parking lot level above the store,
Hmm.
and then Anthony's like, "Oh, I forgot something in my car," so uh, he runs away, and then someone says, "Someone should fuck with his food." And we're 20 years old, so
Right,
we're
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
basically no more than animals at that point
Yeah.
in terms of how kind we are to each
Yeah.
other.
Lord of the
It's
Flies.
like Sawyer said, Lord of the Flies. Yeah. So I open up the lid of his salad and then I fart on it and then close the lid. And Anthony comes running back about a minute later and then he looks at us. And he's like, "You guys did something to my food. You guys did something to my salad. What did you guys do to my salad?" And then he's like staring at like the three of us. And
Right.
then he looks me right in the face. He's like, "Did you fart on my salad?" And I don't know how he
Right.
pulled exactly what happened, but he
That
named it
is
on the very
Right.
first try exactly what happened. And I wanted to point that
Wow.
out
Yeah.
because I feel like that's a real similar thing to the uh
that-
you can build a tent yourself. What did Boone say?
Can smell his stink on you.
Hmm.
I've I've never heard that story. It's amazing.
That's
So wait,
great.
what was your response? Did you like try to deny or acquiesce? Or?
I just started laughing hysterically because I couldn't believe that he nailed it on the first
Yeah.
try. I couldn't even
That's
admit
amazing.
or deny because I was
Right.
laughing so
Yeah.
hard.
Just awestruck.
That's that is too damn funny.
Yeah. And as well, y'all know, whoever denies it supplied it. Denied
Mhm.
it, supplied it. Yeah.
But just a PSA for everyone: don't fart on your friend's salad. That's a mean thing to do.
Yeah. It's funny though.
Yeah, that
No one
they
wants to eat
say
fart
that.
salad.
I mean, I don't know. People have been. I remember hearing this a while ago, but I remember hearing about it recently too. Like teenage boys, they
Hmm.
say that their brain chemistry is like in league with sociopaths. Like
I
it's
believe
not.
it.
It's almost like, and like yeah. And I think I remember doing some silly, stupid, silly things like that. But that is goddamn hilarious. Like even now, like a bunch of years later, that is a fucking that I would die laughing at that.
The two guys that were with us, whenever anyone mentions farting on salad,
Yeah.
still laugh hysterically. We're in our 40s now.
Well, I mean, I think any regular person you talk about farting on salad, they're gonna laugh at that.
Yeah, that's
Anyone off the street.
fantastic. That is
Yeah.
fucking wild. That is too much.
Viewers, listeners, if you are amused by salad farting, please tweet at us. Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know what foods you farted on as a
Mhm.
prank, or for other reasons, whatever. I want to hear
Or,
your
or
fart and food stories.
yeah, only about farting on food though. We don't want to know what other kinds of stuff you're getting up to back
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
is there like what role does Jack play in this episode? He's kind of just peacemaker guy, right? Like
I guess, except
for
that
the intro.
he doesn't make peace the one time when he physically should be making peace because the guy's just getting beat in front of everyone.
Like between them, let them go, and Jack's like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, you're right. It is
Should
their
let this.
fight. The one guy punching the other guy repeatedly.
I'm a
He's like,
doctor, but
remember
I
that
see
time?
nothing wrong with this.
Yeah,
It's it's a lot.
yeah. I
Um,
did notice like Sawyer in this, like real evil. Like forget how evil like first season Sawyer is. Like he beats
yeah,
up he jumps Jin in the jungle, ties him up, and then has like puts a knife in his face and is like, it's Lord of the Flies out here, man. These doctors and accountants are gonna
yeah.
get you. I'm gonna take you out to the beach and
Call,
beat you to death or whatever. Scary.
this is the thing of its time. Calls him Bruce. He's
Yeah.
like, you got that, Bruce? And I was like, all right, well, damn, forgot about these nicknames.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, like also Sawyer buys his way onto the raft. I mean, it's
Right.
just I don't see a lot. I mean, I know there's an arc that takes place where we grow into seeing a more grown, matured Sawyer that's taking responsibility. But like, I kind of miss this Sawyer, or he's
Yeah.
got a little bit of. It seems like he has more wiliness to him, where
Hmm.
he can kind of, where he's like wheeling and dealing and making moves to get himself like. In the future, it's just more so himself calling himself a con man, or we hear a lot of those things, you can't con a con kind of thing.
Right.
But we see less of like the the little backroom deals that he's making where Jack comes on, he's like, oh, are you like, you're taking Sawyer with you, like, oh yeah, he bought his way on the boat by bringing such and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I kind of remember the character being this way. Like, and I appreciate the arc that the character goes on
Yeah.
through the series, but I still kind of wish they every so often he would have a moment of relapse where he's just all like, and also I'll get a little this on the side, or like some kind of gambit where he ends up getting more like when they start taking on the others and
Right.
stuff in the future. It's all said and done, but it would have been kind of fun to see this Sawyer go up against a like a at that, like maybe an end game Jacob or something. But
Yeah.
I don't know how
That'd be
much
cool.
your wily tricks are
Econ
going up
Jacob. That
against.
would have been great. Jacob's such a know-it-all.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
by the end of the series, they've sanded down so many of Sawyer's rough edges
Mm.
that all that's really left is Sawyer punches people a lot.
Yeah.
Or tackles them.
Right.
Yeah, or both.
Yeah. Or he'll insult people, but it won't be like a race thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, yeah. So I guess is that we I are we watching a wedding scene? Is that the scene that we're watching off island where Jin comes into like a back room and Sun's there? Or are we watching something else?
I think so.
I
Like
don't know if I.
the lady who's dressing her is like, "Oh, you must be so excited to be getting married," but then she's putting on this like weird Amish dress. It's like, oh, how weddings work in Korea. Maybe that's a traditional Korean wedding dress.
Yeah.
I got no idea.
One.
I don't know.
We know that Jacob makes an appearance at that wedding. Like from what we remember from the final season, or right before the final season. But
Yeah.
that's also kind of just a nice little side note.
So I think she's wearing like a Western style wedding dress, and that's I have to look it up. It's like
Yeah.
wedding dress.
Was it? Remember, like in that scene with Jacob, was that was the Western dress? It wasn't like a traditional style.
I think so, but I don't remember. It's been a while.
Maybe it was during
Yeah.
the reception that Jacob showed up.
She probably does
Let's
a
see.
bunch of costume changes on her wedding day. I can see that.
I mean, she is rich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, too, we like like when it comes to Sun, she's kind of got some of this mild duplicitousness to her too. I mean, I don't want to wouldn't want to go too far and besmirch her as a character because she's
I think
great.
that's a
But
big part of her character, especially in the early
right,
seasons. Yeah.
Both
yeah,
her and Jin, both of them have dark sides to them, but the way that the two of them express that is completely different. Because
Mm,
with Jin, like the dark side is he's capable of great violence.
right.
With Sun, she's just like, oh, let me give my best friend a gun so that she can shoot someone to
Nah,
death.
she'll
yeah,
enable it.
yeah. That seems about right.
Yeah.
Like
How
she's
long did
cold
you
blooded,
watch?
but she keeps her hands clean.
Right. Yeah.
Which seems like you'd be a shoe in Pike Industries.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But how long were we watching Jin wash his hands in this episode? Because it feels like
Yeah.
a while. Like
I think
also
it's a
too,
symbolic thing because
Oh no,
washing blood
it's
off your hands, I don't think takes that long.
it's absolutely a symbolic thing because it harkens back to which Shakespeare play is that? Is it the one that you're not supposed to say the
Ooh.
name?
Probably the Scottish play. We're not in a theater,
Yeah.
so we can say it all we want.
Okay.
Unless, yeah.
But yeah, it's the out damn spot thing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
which is the metaphor that's belabored to death. Basically, anytime someone's washing their hands
Yeah.
after violence.
like he leaves the place with that guy in tow. Like drives, I'm assuming drops that guy off somewhere, and then drives home.
He
And
doesn't
like
drive the car into the river like he was supposed to, or whatever. They had very, very
yeah,
specific directions.
that guy gave him very
Yeah.
specific directions. You're right. Like that guy had a whole plan, and then soon as Jin like went and beat that guy, and said, I just saved your life. That guy like is standing there and goes like, "Yeah, I'm fine with this."
Yeah.
Like, and then like gets back to the car. Like his whole purpose of being there is upended. But he's like, he looked like he looked like one of the guys that could just roll with stuff, and he's just all like, "That's just fine."
Yeah, it's fine. I don't have to
I
do
guess
anything. Okay. You don't.
yeah,
You
he
don't
got
think
paid.
he just walked up to the guy while he was bleeding on his carpet and then shot him in the head? And Jim was like, "Wah!"
He's like, look, Mr. Pike paid me to do a thing, and I'm not
Right.
gonna fuck it up like you fucked up your thing.
Yeah,
Like your thing, kind of late.
I know how to
Like
follow orders.
right, you know, it'd be great is like right as that guy was coming up with that silencer, then like
Right.
that guy just offers him another dog, just puts it right in his face.
Like he's pointing
Please,
the gun at him, and he's just holding the dog up, like right in front of the gun. Let's just take the dog.
winning Sharpay. Like the hitman would probably be something like, all right, I'm an assassin, but I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna shoot a prize winning Sharpay in the face.
He's
Yeah,
not one of the bad guys from John Wick.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, like it's. I know we've seen our fill of of mobsters and hired guns in this show,
Hmm.
and some of our own characters that we come to love on the show become these hired guns, like Saeed and Benjamin Linus and all this other stuff. But like the show really does have a lot of hired guns, and like I'm surprised that a lot of them, some of them come back, and a lot of them in this Pike Industries mafia world do not come back because I feel like we've seen so many different
Yeah.
hitmen and mobsters that kind of travel with Jin or whatever, and then you don't ever see them after the episode is over, but you do see like the constants are like Mr. Pike. So my question is
Right.
Mr. Pike just off his goons, or like is there a constant flow of goons into
Yeah, I
his
guess so. There's a lot of missions that he sends them on. A lot of people he's got to do out. It's a big,
like how
big
is the
company.
government not building a case against Pike Industries? They're like, you know what? All your security always changes. Like every other month,
Yeah.
we have a different set of securities. This guy's wearing black leather gloves. You know, I'd like to say that Pike Industries is welcomed here, but it seems like you guys are doing some shady stuff.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think
I wonder how many Pike Industries there are in this world of Lost, or like Pike like industries.
with that, and then
Because
Widmore, right? And I think the two
right,
major global, international companies. That's what I have to think of it as.
Yeah, in this world, there's Whitmore's group, and then there's Pike Industries, and then is that it? Is like those are the two the big money players that we've seen, or the
Yeah.
big heavy money types. Because like even like it doesn't even seem, and then maybe this is not what these characters are, but it doesn't even seem like we get that even with an off-island Ben Linus. Like he's got resources, but he never seems to be balling Widmore style off-island. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I just find that strange.
Yeah, he's got money, he's got resources. Yeah, from island, I'm sure somehow. But yeah, it's not international businessman kind of money. It's not cover of a magazine money.
Yeah, he's not. What we're saying is he doesn't have the kind of money that buys crazy, insane, expensive whiskey that
Yeah,
he can make a speech about not sharing with his son-in-law or soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that island power where the guy who's banging his teenage daughter, he just brainwashes him. He Clockwork Oranges that kid, the 30-year-old boy that's dating his teenage daughter.
Oh, here's another thing with Pike. I don't know how good he is at his business, but like, is there any consequence for Jin after this? Like, I mean, I know he goes back, he beats up the guy,
Right.
but does Mobster's mind, does that square it? It feels like he would still be in the
I
house
think
after
from
this
this point
episode.
on, like I think after that first one where he fails because he doesn't get the guy to change his vote or whatever, like he's stuck now as hired muscle for Pike for the rest of his life. Probably is probably how Pike looks at it. So
I
he
see.
keeps sending him other stuff and there's other missions and now that he's come home with the bloody hands, his wife is afraid of him and knows that he's some kind of goon or something. He's dangerous, right? That's why she's gonna cheat on him with a bald man and run away to America.
Is is this Pike's plan? You think like is this like you think about the money having guys, right?
Mm.
Maybe they're like the Zeuses or like the Mount Olympus guys or whatever. But like, is this him kind of just like having a lark? Like, yeah, you can marry my daughter, but I'm gonna get your hands bloody. I'm gonna make her. You're not gonna be able to spend any real time with her because
Right.
she's gonna be like making you meals and stuff. But I'm gonna be sending you on goon missions.
Yeah.
And like, is this because like I'm assuming I don't know if this is just like like businessman mentality or something because he's offered his daughter to this fisherman's son, but he's not this is not something it's not doesn't seem like he has any interest in this being a real relationship. This is just
Right.
like a means for him to get another hired goon, which is my question is like how hard it is to find another goon. You don't want to take anybody
Yeah.
out of the military or somebody that has like fighting experience. You got to
Right.
take a fisherman's son. So odd.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's because like it depends on how much of a bastard this guy is. Either he's saying he's got this dude who's got leverage on now, right? Because he wants Jen wants to be able to provide for his wife and do all these things and keep her in that level of lifestyle that she's used to. In order to do that, now he's got to work for Pike and do all of his dirty work. So now Pike's got him, right? And
Yeah.
the worst case scenario is that maybe he goes out on a job and then gets killed, and then his daughter's single again. Good for him. He wins no matter what, right? So if he's a real bastard, that's kind of how he looks at it. Or if he's like
Yeah.
maybe like kind of a good guy ish as far as he can be, then maybe this is like the training steps that Jin has to go through to like get hard and be able to take his place as the the next
I
Pike
see.
Industries guy. Which I don't think that's how it is. I
Oh,
think he's just a dickhead who doesn't care if he dies or not.
yeah, I see. Yeah, that I could see that. Yeah, like and it might be like one of those weird four chess moves that some of these types do. Like from that vantage point, you have this whole thing that you're servicing, and you can either have mob boss, son-in-law, or you can have like son-in-law that gets killed, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that didn't work out. My daughter's up on the market again,
Yeah, she's not married
right?
to a fisherman anymore. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like I guess I'll. Yeah, also too, like I think we see like uh the son's father ends up sending Jin on a mission to go and take out that guy that was cheating with her, right? The posh guy, the guy that
Yeah.
was of means or whatever. Like why don't you think that the father like initially sets son up with somebody in their same world or their same uh, I guess class or something. I don't know if it's mob class or money class or
Yeah.
something because like
I think
they're
he
yeah, he's,
tries. I think she's too independently minded to go for that. Because I think when
oh
they first meet the bald guy, it's like a setup kind of thing, and they're supposed to start dating or whatever off of that. And he pretends to, and he's like, actually, I've got a girl in America I'm gonna go be with, but I'll give you
that's
English
right,
lessons. Yeah, so that's what happens when they
that's
first
right.
meet. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, like yeah, we get that in this episode too, where like where Sun just says like I was gonna leave you, and
mm,
this is an argument with Jin later on in the episode. Um, like yeah, like thinking about it, like that was the whole. I guess I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot that like the plane crash is what keeps their marriage together, right? Essentially,
yeah,
otherwise she would have been like Gonzo's.
yeah.
But
She was ready
was
to
she aware
go.
that
What was that?
Was she aware that that guy was dead already? The guy that she was having an affair with?
Don't know if she ever finds that out. Probably. I don't
She's
know.
like on the plane. The guy hasn't texted me in a minute.
Yeah, we should have an English lesson before I left for America. Yeah, that's the other thing we haven't talked about yet is that when he's the whole episode, Jin's talking about how his dad is dead when he's talking to Pac, to his wife and
Yeah,
everything, and we find out at the end, oh, he's not dead, he's still
yeah.
fishermaning. And he goes and
That's
explains.
the guy who raises him is not officially his dad, but is his dad, right? Like he's just I think that was
Oh,
someone
that's
that
right.
was with,
Yeah,
but he was like kind of he took like the mom left or died or something like that,
I think she was a
and Jin
prostitute,
gets
right?
yeah Jin gets raised by the fisherman, but the
Right.
fisherman biologically is not his dad or something. But
Yeah,
like
or maybe he
is
doesn't know or something.
all amazing guy
Yeah.
like the dad, yeah. Um, but yeah, but I don't know. Do we ever find out what happens to Jin's father? I mean, that doesn't seem like that's come up in the show, or at least I don't remember it.
No, I think he meets Sun later on in the episode where we meet Sun's mom. I think he meets the dad. I think he takes her home. I think at some
I see.
point, and so they have a nice day together. But I think that's about it. Then they leave for
I
Australia,
see.
and then he never knows what happens to them. No, she comes back. She's one of the Oceanic Six, so he knows that she came back, and his son is dead.
Hmm.
If he reads the
Right,
newspaper,
right.
and he doesn't die, he's an old man.
That's yeah. He doesn't come back for any info or anything. Oh yeah, that feels prime for like a
Yeah,
Lost 2 reboot. Speaking
yeah,
of which, since we're like approaching the 20 year mark, this show should get a revival. I think. I mean, it. I think. I think people. I think at this time, this is like the mystery box show, and then there's a bunch of shows that came after that tried to mimic the mystery box
yeah.
dynamic, not as successfully. And like I think now, in today's world of entertainment, I feel like people are moving away from the mystery box stuff. Like it's not as much of a it doesn't grab people
Mm.
like this show did for its time. Like if um there's another show, but I guess we can talk about it in our future segment about what have we been up to. But like that tries to do some mystery box stuff. But I'm starting to notice that some of the current modern day mystery box type shows are kind of falling flat. But
Yeah.
that
I think it's
that
because
goes
it's a lot shorter, right? Because everything, like on streaming at least, it's like 8 to 10 episodes, and they do map
yeah.
everything out. Like Lost always said that they did, even though we can tell that they didn't. But that made it like more fun because like, oh, we're just gonna take weird, crazy turns sometimes because we've got 25 episodes to make this year and we don't know where we're going. So we can ask questions that we never answer and all this stuff. But that's not part of it anymore. Now it's like there's the mystery box stuff, but it's very tightly controlled that we know it's in that. When they show you that mystery box in the first episode, they've already written out and know what's in the mystery box and everything.
There's kind of a sadness in that. I mean,
Yeah.
when I think about it, it's like for a show like this, it was groundbreaking and experimental. They try to make these moves, and it wasn't always successful, but it did do a lot of good stuff. But yeah, like in today's world, everything is like you mentioned. You got like 8 to 10 episodes, and everything is so scripted and plotted out. Like you don't really have a chance to like make fun mistakes like a Nikki and Paula, which falls flat, but also is kind of an interesting experiment. Like now, these shows kind of have to, they have to either hit right out the gate and keep people attached, or they kind of just and also too, like there's no conversation, because before you'd watch an episode of Lost, talk about it at the water cooler or whatever,
Right.
and then then you'd wait for next week, and everybody be excited for next week, and then you still have a few networks that kind of go according to that model, like some of the HBO stuff where there's like a week-to-week release, or Disney Plus where there's a week-to-week release, because they want to generate conversation around these properties and these franchises and these ideas and these concepts. And like the Netflix model doesn't really lend itself to that, because it's just like they drop the 10 episodes, you binge it, and then you're just on to the next.
Yeah.
Or you don't really sit with it like how you would with a show like.
Yeah. That's just the way the things work now. We don't have the monoculture anymore, where we were all experiencing the same stuff at the same time.
There's just way too much.
Like some people are going to watch us record our podcast right now, and then eventually they will hear it on their podcast app in about 9 months. When I finally get it uploaded, and it'll be different for everybody. But anyways, what else? You got anything else to talk about for this episode before we start wrapping up?
No, that's all I got. You got anything?
I don't.
Cool.
The only other thing that I can think of is on the background of the drive to the secretary's house. I did spot Femnu strip club.
Oh, nice.
And much like I don't remember if it was the last episode or the one before that, they did that montage with everything set to music at the end that tied together disparate threads of what was going on the island. And it's like that's a very season 1 technique.
Yeah.
Like they stopped doing that later.
Right. Surprised they did it like in the next episode, because in this episode when they're doing it, Hurley's listening to a CD, right? And that's where the music's coming from, kind of diegetically. And then his battery dies. And he says, "Son of a bitch," which I think is a bad language he learned from Sawyer. But you think that would be a perfect time to be like, okay, now we can move away from this thing, because I think this may be how they do it. But now they just keep doing it. They just don't explain where the music's coming from.
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, somebody's winding up a record player in the background in the next episode. Like, we still got it.
Yeah. So you said you spotted an Easter egg. So to kick off Easter egg corner, what was that you mentioned earlier? Saw an Easter egg in the dog scene.
Oh, is that? Oh yeah, you see that I guess there's a clip on TV. That little girl is watching Hurley on TV, and I guess it's there's some titles. I guess I guess the news makes it all the way to South Korea. That somebody in LA won the lottery.
Yeah, I think so. It must have been a lot of money. I think it was 400 million or something. That was a big number. It's either that or they have weird parallel universe TV, that Rick and Morty TV stuff, which he's watching Lost on. You're watching that episode of Lost where really numbers the next week's episode. Oh, that's foreshadowing, right? Because at this point we don't see that stuff. We haven't seen that.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she's watching future TV.
That makes sense.
Nice. Do we have any other Easter eggs that you noted that pop up in this?
Pretty sure I saw Judy Chamness, for all the Judy Chamness watchers, during the boat on fire scene, which she's one of the people running out to see what's going on when the raft's on fire. I think the camera's moving around a lot in this dark, but someone, they're roughly her body type and the clothes that they usually put her in looks like it. So I'll pull the screenshot, and you'll know when you look at the website in the show notes, you'll see it. And that, and Boone, he's got his 84 shirt on. It says his shirt says 84 in kanji. 8 and 4 are numbers. And that's all I had. I don't have my notes with me. This is the two big ones.
Right before we move on, like this, we find out in the future episode that who actually set the fire was Walt.
Yeah,
who burnt
that's
the
right.
rap because he's Ellen. Homeboy stands there and watches a married couple fight with his dad, and like he sees the entire uproar with us. I mean, I know it's a little kid. What you gonna do? But at the same time, I was like, he's standing there for the whole thing. Doesn't jump in like I burnt the rap. Hey, dad, it was me. It was just all like this dad beat up this man who was trying to give him some information, but there's a translation issue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like
Well,
if you knew that the dad was beating up the guy that burnt the raft, or that he thought burnt the raft,
Yeah.
why would you say no? It wasn't him. It was me.
Right. Especially when you know that none of the adults are going to stop him from beating anyone up. They're going to
Mhm.
say, hey, you know what? Don't tell him how to parent his kid. It's not our fight.
you're right. It's not our fight. It's between him and his kid, and it's just Walt taking the dirtiest of lickings.
Mhm.
Straight to the face. But
Just,
yeah, so
yeah.
that was your Easter egg corner. Now our next segment is what have you guys been getting lost in?
Yeah, I want to jump on this real quick.
Yeah.
We're talking about mystery shows, and this brings us back to this point. There's a show on Epix, and I don't watch a lot of Epix, but I guess on that station they I don't know if it's like a spinoff of Stars, but they have like maybe I think Gods, but I think that's a Star show. Anyway,
Yeah.
there's a show on Epix called From, and it touts itself as a show that comes from the makers of Lost, and the show is essentially about a town that has these creatures that pop up at night. Nobody is supposed to go outside. The whole town has a set of rules that they have to live by. If anybody goes outside at nighttime, they get taken and eaten, killed, whatever, by these monsters. So like that's the premise of the show. So it's just like people that are stuck in a town that they can't go out at night. During the daytime, everything's fine. And they tout it as a show that's like from the makers of Lost, but it's a terrible show. Like it is absolutely crazy, and I can't stop watching it. Like it's on. I think there's like maybe 10 episodes, and it's on episode 9 right now. But the main character is actually what is it? Michael? No, not Michael Armisen. It's Michael from this episode
Okay.
from Lost.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
actually the main character in it. He plays a sheriff called Boyd, but in that show he has a son that there's a lot of echoes of Lost. So like there's all these people that have gathered in this town and they can't go out at night because of monsters, and it is terribly written. Some of the directors include Jack Bender
Really?
and also Game of Thrones.
Bending Rodriguez.
Yeah. Jack Bender Rodriguez. So like, if you get a chance, if anybody listening or watching this right now gets a chance to watch a trailer for the TV show From on Epix, watch the trailer, feel amazed at like, oh, this seems like a really good show, and then watch the first episode, and then feel yourself becoming incredibly disappointed, and like you feel the lack of opportunity because the script writing is terrible, the character development is terrible, and they don't take advantage of any to our storytelling device in this is we get an on-island story, off-island story where we're doing some flashbacks. On this TV show, all of the dialogue about people talking about their life before they came to this town is just dialogue between one another, and it is not gripping or interesting. It is the most boring bullshit you've ever watched. So yeah, that's my thing for the week is that TV show From. I fucking hate it. I'm gonna watch every single episode because I'm crazy, but I fucking hate that shit.
I hate when I get stuck on something that I don't really like, but I'm wasting hours and hours on.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I absolutely hate this show, and it's got such good people in it. Like guy, the main character, and from also you got directors from Game of Thrones and stuff in here, and it's a fucking steaming pile of dog shit, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm gonna watch every episode.
David, what about you?
I've been getting lost in it's a YouTube channel. I believe it's called Tier Zoo or Zoo Tier. I think it's Tier Zoo, where the guy does tier rankings, like power rankings
Oh,
of
okay.
actual animals, as though it's a video game. So
Nice.
he'll do it. He'll do one that's like where he talks about like the how like the dinosaur class got nerfed after the post-Cretaceous balance patch or whatever. So that kind of stuff. There's like real, actual biology like information, but presented as like a video game, like the Pokemon or something. So it's very fun.
That does sound super fun.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, which is a free to play battle royale team based hero shooter. So it's kind of like Overwatch crossed with Fortnite, I guess, but without building stuff.
Oh,
And I started playing in mid January, and I'm currently just over 200 hours in.
wow.
Nice.
So
I've been playing a lot of it.
yeah, that's quite a bit for having been playing for 2.5 months, basically.
Who's your favorite character?
Right now, I would say that my favorite character to play is probably Mirage, who I would not have originally picked for my favorite. The character that I was super into right at the beginning of the game was called Ramp. It's called Rampart. She has a giant minigun that she carries around.
Nice.
So when it's time for her ultimate, she like pulls it out and tells everyone to say hello to Sheila because that's the name of her gun.
Right.
Mirage, on the other hand, is he's a dummy who managed to create hologram technology, and so he just runs around and then he like throws out holograms to be like, "Oh God, don't shoot me!" And it's
Nice.
it. He's the only character that I was able to win the game with.
Wow. That there's two
Nice.
very different kinds of characters,
Mhm.
different kinds of play styles. That's cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I found out that I'm much better at the "Oh God, don't shoot me" play style than I am at
Nice. I know we're wrapping up. There is one other thing that I've been getting lost in is Gerard Carmichael has a new special on HBO that just came out this Saturday. He's a stand-up comic. It's an interesting special. I was watching it with my wife, and it was a lot of fun. I really dug it. But yeah, it's I think maybe his third stand-up special with HBO that he does. It's like a small room that he's in, and then it feels like comedy, but it's less comedy. Feels almost a little experimental. It's directed by Bo Burnham, but it's on HBO now, and
Cool.
that's fun. So whenever you're listening to this now, months from now, whatever, it's a fun.
It'll still be there, I'm
It's an
sure.
interesting special. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. So
Oh.
there you have it. You got 3 things plus another bonus thing for you
Yeah.
guys to get lost in.
Yeah.
But before we leave, it's time for the as yet unnamed portion of the show where you guys tell me what the name of the next episode is, and I
Yeah.
have to guess things about it.
Yeah.
That'd
Our
be it.
next episode is actually season 1, episode 16. Sorry, Dave, could you help us out? What is the title of this episode?
This one, next week we're going to be covering an episode called Outlaws.
Outlaws.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's going to be a Sawyer episode.
Oh, yeah, he's an outlaw. Good
Because
bet.
right now we're full up on criminal Sawyer.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out conning and conning. Yeah, he's just going to be doing his
Pulling
con
some
man
long
thing.
cons.
Maybe this is where we see him get his place in the boat, right? I mean, if we're throwing a... So we'll see. All right, so yeah, that's the entitled next week's episode, Outlaws 1, season 116.
we'll catch you guys for that one. This has been another episode in the can. Oh, thanks for watching and
You know,
listening. We love you.
yeah, you know, dude.
Get lost.
Okay, and as a special bonus for anyone actually watching the video, we're gonna write out tonight on my favorite thing to do, which is watch kisses from the thing that we watched. So we're gonna watch the kiss from this episode and say good night. So thanks everybody for watching.
Good night, everyone. I gotta
Bye.
go.
Bye. Oh, I can't see our
Bye.
faces with this thing. Oh, there it goes. That's a good one. It's a good kiss. Oh, it's a long one too. Is it over? Yeah, maybe. Oh, yep, there it goes. Okay.